Hello and welcome to the Feeders Series podcast, your guide to keeping up to date on everything in the junior single-seater world. I'm your host, Jim Kimberley, and I have a little bit of a different episode coming up because we are covering a series that the podcast hasn't spoken about before, and we have two new names joining me for the next 45 minutes or so. I'm shining a light on Eurocup 3, and who better to join me for this than one of the championship challengers and currently, as we record, the championship leader, Mattia Colnaghi. How are you doing today on a very big week for you?
All good, spending some time with my family, enjoying the summer before we get started with Spa.
Exactly. You guys are on a little bit of a summer break, so behind the scenes we're recording in the summer break. I don't know when this is going to quite go out, but a big week indeed because you've joined an illustrious team, which we're going to go into a little bit. But before I do that, I need to also introduce my guide for the day for a series I don't know that much about, a podcast debut for our Eurocup 3 editor, Seb Tirado. Welcome to the show, Seb. How are you? And also, I wanted to give you a full-on introduction. You cover about 50 different series. What are the other ones that I rudely ignored?
Well, I'm doing very well. I've always wanted to come onto the podcast ever since I started on Feeder Series. Fun fact, actually, the first time I applied for Feeder Series, it was for the podcast writer role, which I didn't get, but then I got copy editor, and I cover Eurocup 3 and Spanish F4, to championship space in Spain. I'm also heading in November to the season finale as well, so I can be in a Feeder Series paddock for the first time, hopefully meet you as well, Mattia.
Yeah.
Perfect. So it's been a lot of covering, Mattia, which is exactly what I needed for a podcast like today. So you guys are going to get on like a house on fire. Just before we get into all the questions, if you do like what we do, please subscribe if you are watching on YouTube and drop a comment with your support. That really helps us out. And if you're listening, leave a review on the podcast platform you're listening on. All of that support genuinely means the world to me. So thank you for everybody who is already subscribed. But I'm going to get into everything properly. And usually, as long-term listeners and viewers know, I go into the audience questions later on in the episode, but I have to jump the gun a little bit because very timely for the timing of recording. We have a question from Twitter from Oliver Money, 92147. Don't know if the numbers mean anything. Because they wanted to know, Mattia, did he get an offer from an F1 team academy? And it was just yesterday, as recording now, that an announcement of a junior team came. Mattia, tell us everything. You are now a Red Bull junior team driver.
Yeah, obviously that along with the opportunity to drive in FI Formula 3, which was obviously the next step on the ladder for me. To be honest, it's great. I still can't believe it. So
now let me talk about this. So from a perspective of you've got an F1 team backing you now, which is huge. Like for any driver, be it F2 all the way down to karting, that's a massive deal. I know for a fact that the announcement was yesterday, but you've known before that. How did this all start coming about? And like when you first had that contact, or maybe you reached out, like how did this happen?
So obviously it started with last year winning Spanish F4 in my rookie season. Definitely helped to kind of improve my presence in the single-seater paddock and establish myself as a driver that is quite quick and can bring results. Obviously, so that's when they contacted us for the first time. And then we kind of didn't really focus on it too much in the winter, seeing as the Eurocup season was the main focus. But then obviously after starting the Eurocup season and winning in Red Bull Ring and finishing P2 in race 2, that's when it all kind of came together again.
So if you want to impress Red Bull, go to the Red Bull Ring and impress. That sounds like the short version of it. And finally, just on these questions, because I always think it's really interesting, these junior teams, they're coming to you so early. Do you feel like you've got a spam email or something? Like it comes up Dr. Halbert Mark, you're like, what the hell? That's not right. Like how does that happen? Like you and your family must have been thinking, oh my God, this is huge.
Yeah, so I didn't get the first email. My dad was contacted along with MP. Obviously, they are quite in good relations with Red Bull and in general, the people working there. So yeah, to be honest, I didn't really know much until later on. But obviously that makes sense as I was mainly focusing on the season, to be honest.
So excited for you. It's like life-changing, this sort of thing. So obviously we know Red Bull can give such massive opportunities. So let's keep fingers crossed that you continue on the trajectory you've been on and continue to impress. And I know that you've been watching Mattia for a while, Seb, and of course, Formula 3 is the other side of the announcement. So it's been like a big announcement to have a 2-for-1 almost. Has it come as a surprise to you, Seb, that announcements come for one F3 and two the Red Bull Junior team? How's this year gone from your perspective, watching from an editor point of view?
Well, the question of is it if it's come as a surprise, I would say no, because Mattia's performances this year and last year have been pretty exceptional for a younger driver. You win Spanish F4 in your first year of car racing. You're leading in a Formula Regional level championship in your first year of racing in that championship. He's already been to Macau. He's won so many races. He's done so well these last 2 years. A Formula 3 seat was inevitable. The one I can say was a surprise is the announcement of being a Red Bull Junior now. But at the same time, Red Bull are an academy who are so prestigious. They've brought some great talent into the world of Formula One and to other championships as well. Just have a look at Daniel Kvyat, Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz. And right now you've got names like Arvid Lindblad, who will most likely go into F1 in the future. They are an academy that look at the kind of performances that Colnaghi has put in last year and this year. So I wasn't expecting a driver academy announcement when I saw MP were making an announcement yesterday. But the fact that it's Red Bull, kind of obvious. I mean, Colnaghi is the kind of driver that they look for.
Well, I find it most interesting that Daniel Kvyat was the name before, well, you even mentioned Sebastian Vettel, but before Max Verstappen, so I find that fascinating. But there is there is of course a deep quality of driver that have come through that academy. Carlos Sainz, a good one.
But Vettel just escaped my name. I don't know why. I mean, 4-time world champion.
It's only 4 championships. No one remembers that sort of minor thing, do they? Colnaghi will win 10 and then everyone forget about Verstappen too. But let's keep on this Red Bull thing for a little bit. I know you've got a lot more to you than being a Red Bull driver, Mattia. Just the timing is worked out perfectly. But 2 more audience questions are going to go in earlier. Klajar via Discord wanted to know, have you got the chance to meet Helmut Marko? And Empress, also via Discord, why did you choose the Red Bull Junior team, and were any other of interest to you / interested in signing you? So Helmut Marko, other academies, what can you tell us?
So I met Helmut in Barcelona on the F1 weekend when I was there with the F3 team just before Portimao. I was already in Spain, so I got the opportunity to go and obviously watch F3, learn as much as I could from a higher category, from the drivers, from the engineers, from everything. And so then obviously the opportunity popped up when it was still quite early stages to talk with Dr. Helmut and kind of meet him. And so that's when I met him for the first time.
Let me ask, before we go to the other side of things, but when you meet Dr. Marko, so was this like one of the first F1 weekends you've been at, or have you gone to the Grand Prix before?
I have been to a lot of F1 weekends, mainly in Monza and Singapore, since I lived in Singapore with my family for 5 years, since I was from 5 to 10 years of age. So I went to the Singapore GP, I believe, in 2014, 15, and 16, if I'm not mistaken. And the Italian GP in Monza a bit earlier, so when Sebastian Vettel was still in the Red Bull car.
Wow. So you've seen the Grand Prix weekend from, I guess, a fan perspective, maybe a bit of good access. But then were you jumping into the Red Bull Energy Station with Dr. Marko? Were you able to go into the paddock and that sort of stuff?
During the weekend, not quite. My focus was mainly on staying with the MP team in F3 and both F2. I had the opportunity to go to the grid on the F3 race weekend. And then I also had to travel to Portimao on Sunday before the GP actually took place. So
it's not all glamour, is it, really? You've got all that traveling as well. But let's ask a question that everyone wants me to ask. Like, Dr. Marko has a reputation. I've had other guests come on saying like him being an interesting character when you met. Do you have any interesting stories with the good doctor so far, or is it too early in your Red Bull days?
No, it's very early. I have only just met him. So in Barcelona, it was a quick meetup just for him to get to know me and me to get to know him. I mean, it's quite obvious he is quite demanding. He is demanding from all of his junior drivers, and I'm not surprised. He wants us to perform to the best we can, so makes sense.
And on the other side of things, then, the other junior academies that are out there, it's so bountiful at the moment with all the teams having some form of junior drivers. Did you have any other conversations elsewhere? Like, how do you make a decision like this to go to Red Bull?
Not really any conversations in person, and to be honest, for me, the choice was quite obvious because Red Bull is the one that showed the most interest from already the end of last year. So obviously, judging by that, you normally choose the one that seems the most interested in you, and so that was why we went to Red Bull.
All that flirting has worked out for Red Bull. Now they've got you right, ready to go for F3 next year. So amazing for you. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And Seb, I've got the audience questions to come, and a lot of them, but it's your chance now to pick up these winter series, Eurocup 3. How's it been over 2025? These are like quite young championships relative to F2 and so on, and Frecker, arguably Freck because it's going to be known again. Should we all be watching? Because I know TRS, that's changed now. We've got Formula Regional Oceania. Like these winter series, they've got competition now from Europe, and now we've got another regional level one for the summer. How good are these championships that you get to cover?
To not sound too biased, it is definitely a championship that people should follow. I mean, back in the winter, back in February, March, we had the Spanish Winter Championship for the first time. So we had Spanish F4, or Eurocup 4 as it was known, and Eurocup 3 competing in the off-season of all the other main Formula Regional Championships. And we had some great talent competing. Alongside Mattia Colnaghi, we had Maciek Vladic, he was in there as well, Valerio Runicella, Lucas Flusha also had some appearances in there as well. And next year, we published on Feeder Series a couple of weeks ago. Next year, Eurocup 3, it's only going to get bigger and better. They're getting a Dallara chassis, they're getting new Hankook tyres, new locations, going to Silverstone for the first time, which I'm personally very excited for, home race for my championship. Again, hopefully I don't sound too biased, but I do think at the current trajectory that Eurocup 3 is going on, it could probably grow to be as big as Frecker, or Freck as you said it's going to be known as next year. The teams that are going in there next year, we already have great teams. We have Campos, we have MP. Next year, we're getting High Tech as well. They're a massively influential team higher up the ranks of the single-seater ladder. So it's definitely a championship that people should follow next year because some great talent, I bet some great talent is going to choose Eurocup 3 next year over Formula Regional Europe, and I'm very excited to see it.
Competition's high, and the competition between the series is also high. You know what, Mattia, actually, I was looking into your history, doing a bit of research because I have this much professionalism. But I saw that I actually saw you, was Formula Winter Series at Jerez your first single-seater races
Last
years ago?
year, you mean, or the start of
Yeah.
the Formula
No,
Winter?
last year.
Correct. Jerez, yes, indeed.
And so, because I didn't realize at the time, I was covering it for a different organization, but I would have seen you racing at Jerez then. And that was like, well, I don't know, around 250 cars or something on track. Like there was so many cars.
Yeah.
It's like these winter championships in Europe, I really think they're going to be starting to really impede on those Southern Hemisphere people because there's just so much attraction. Like that must have been quite appealing to you to have a chance to race in Europe through the winter without having to go to the Middle East or out to New Zealand. Is that what's so appealing to you? You can almost fly or drive home afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing for us was that we were using the Hankooks rather than the Pirelli in the Middle East Championship. So, I mean, that was the obvious choice to choose the Formula Winter Series at the start of last year. Also, to be racing against some Italian F4 teams such as US Racing that did come to the Formula Winter Series. I think they did it also the start of this year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so that was why it was the obvious choice. Plus, also the travel expenses, I guess, both for myself and the team are quite a lot less staying in Europe.
So interesting. Just these small things you don't really think about, but logistics does make a huge deal. You had to drive over, but yeah, I got to see you in your first race. Just funny how the feeder series world works, all so interconnected. Let's get into these audience questions because obviously there's a little bit, and Seb, both of you actually are in a different world from me. Not because I'm like double your age or anything like that, but because you guys are so heavily involved in the Discord server. So I know that you have, I mean this in a very positive way, by the way, involvement and a reputation there that people like engaging with you. And I've seen this with so many junior drivers. It's a plug for the Discord if people listening and watching aren't involved in it. If you want to speak to Mattia and other drivers, do join because there's plenty of them there. Let's go into this question. Let's start with that because Denial Frost via Discord. I want to know, why did you start karting late compared to others, and how difficult was it at first to be on the same level as them?
So the reason why I started so late is obviously the center of karting is well known for being Italy, with WSK and other championships being mainly here. So when I was living in Singapore, I didn't really get the chance, or there wasn't really the passion, for racing that there is here in Italy. So obviously when I came back to Italy with my dad that has such a big passion for the sport, we kind of talked with different people, and they were like, "Oh yeah, but here there is quite a big involvement in karting and in motorsports in general." And so we found the Easy Car Championship, which is the first year I had of racing actually after COVID hit. So yeah, that was mainly how it started.
And how old were you then?
I believe 11 to 12. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you do get some of these kids. I've been, again, writing some things up recently. They were like jumping in karts at 5, 6, 7 years old. So you're the disadvantage, maybe, was it? Or did you feel like, no, I've got raw speed and you could attack straight away?
I think in terms of speed, I've always been quite okay. I do think it is a thing that comes to me quite naturally. I think the main thing was obviously, seeing as I started so late, I was kind of forced to jump category each year. And not getting 2 years in a single category kind of didn't give me really the time to figure out how it actually properly worked. So obviously 2020 I did Easy Car, then X30 Junior, OK Junior, and OK Senior then in 2023 before jumping to single seaters last year.
So we're thinking then Formula 3 next year, Formula 2 the year after. So is that Formula 1 in 2028 confirmed then, Mattia? Is that what I'm hearing there?
Possibly.
I'm not going to make you answer that.
We'll see.
Possibly.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I'd love it if it happens. I'd absolutely love it if it happens.
Just rookie championship titles all the way to F1. Rookie
It's the
F3
way to
title,
do it.
rookie F2 title, world champion in the first year.
You've got to follow Charles Leclerc's
Leto's
footsteps
done
and
it.
all this. Exactly. Just do that. But let's talk about the championships, because the other question I've got for you from Instagram, this one is from Stenoduri22. What did it feel like after winning the Spanish F4 championship last year?
So obviously when I won it, I couldn't really process it fully. It was the first time I actually won a big championship such as the Spanish F4, and obviously with my rival Keanu, after around Portimao, so round 2, we kind of thought it was over, like he would run away with it just because he was racking up these big results. But in Jerez and Barcelona, I was really able to get in the zone and maximize everything I had in the car and myself. And so yeah, I mean, it was quite shocking when I won it in Barcelona. I really couldn't believe it. And with Macau the week after, which I got the chance to do, it kind of hit after the Macau race weekend.
So our next question comes from Discord from Coldplay McPan fan. What pushed you to race in the Spanish series, so Spanish F4 and Eurocup 3, rather than, say, Italian F4 or Freca?
So obviously the main reason was winning the Richard Mille Young Talent Academy, which does give you a seat with MP, one of the top teams in Spanish F4. Seeing as budget-wise, we couldn't really do F4 without this chance given to us by Allroad and Richard Mille. That's mainly the reason why. Obviously, it was an opportunity we couldn't pass.
And the next question we have is from Instagram, from @RacingForAGirl. First of all, Mattia, big congratulations on this big news. What's your favorite thing about racing?
Favorite thing about racing is definitely the wheel-to-wheel battles that we can have between us drivers on the limit.
Let me ask on this side of things, Mattia. If I was to ask you the same question, but say off the track, because I think the best thing about racing, obviously wheel-to-wheel winning, all those sorts of things will be those I say obvious, but popular answers. But you mentioned already the logistics and things, and I've been in a couple of the paddocks, been very fortunate to have the chance in there. Are there any things that are not involved with on-track activity that you'd say is also good in racing? Because you do get to travel the world, you get to go to these new places. Is there anything like that you enjoy as well?
Obviously, traveling is a big part of racing. We do go to different racetracks. I mean, obviously not in the Spanish F4 or Eurocup. We're still mainly based in Europe, especially with Spanish F4. But definitely, for example, last year going to Macau was, okay, not the best weekend in terms of results, but just the experience being there racing in Macau, which is a really nice place to visit, was incredible.
Is it your first street track, like proper, like tight street track? That must be intimidating.
It was at first, but then you get the hang of it. You're like, okay, send it. Let's see what happens.
It's still quite a baptism by fire, though. Your first Formula
Yeah,
Regional experience
yeah.
being the Macau Grand Prix.
How was Macau in general? Like Singapore, I also have been to the Grand Prix. I'm currently in Asia now. Like I've been to these big Asian cities, Hong Kong, Bangkok, like, but I've never done Macau, and I'd love to go. For somebody who's so familiar with Singapore, was it quite a culture shock still?
Yeah, it was quite different. I was surprised how different it was to Singapore. Obviously, Singapore being still in Asia and being a quite compact city like Macau, it was still a surprise when I went to Macau how different it was. But obviously, I mean, Macau is, you could say, the Las Vegas of that area.
Yeah, it's very popular for a reason. I'd love to go. Yeah, one day I'll put on my bucket list to go, especially for the Grand Prix. I mean, they really, it's like Singapore, it takes over the city from everything I see. Like they really
Yeah,
push
it's
it.
really magic.
And really, yeah, I'd love to go. So jealous of you on a lot of fronts, Mattia, and that is absolutely one of them. Next question from me is from Cesar Valero 98 on X, Twitter, whatever. But Cesar has been very supportive of the podcast for a long time. So thank you, Cesar. They want to know what activities you like to do in your free time between race weekends.
So obviously, sim racing is definitely the main one.
Racing and racing and racing.
Sim racing. I'm a big sim racer. I love to do iRacing events and race in general on iRacing. In the winter, when we don't race in the winter, I do go skiing and snowboarding a lot. I can actually do both. So it depends on how the snow is. If there's a good powder, I love a snowboard day. But yeah, we have not been getting that in Italy for quite some time. So
Did you start doing that when you're in Singapore? Because as far as I
no,
know, places on the
no,
equator aren't so good
before
for
I went to
skiing.
Singapore. So I started skiing around 3 years of age. So the 2 years before going to Singapore, I kept skiing. And when I was at Singapore, I would still come back for the winter to Italy to visit my grandparents and obviously then go skiing with them.
Real citizen of the world, really interesting. And I mean, I do iRacing, but I'm pretty sure we're on very different levels. Although, fun fact, now I didn't even think to bring this up. I did out-qualify Max Verstappen like a few months ago because he came up. People who don't know, I knew it was Max Verstappen because you have to use the name that's like associated with a credit card or something. I don't know if you have 2 laps generally of iRacing for qualifying. He set his one on his first, must have got like off track limits on the second. So you must I didn't and managed to get faster on my second lap. It's the proudest moment in my fledgling racing career. He then went and dunked on us all in the actual race. But if you haven't had a chance to do iRacing, and you play the F1 games and stuff, racing against real people. I can never do it in real life, Mattia. I'm jealous of that, but there's something about not knowing what people are going to do that makes it so much more tense, I guess, compared to doing stuff against AI. So really big recommend if you are a racing fan. Let's stick on the racing side of things because Marty Bissio81, right, Instagram. What has been your most exciting or most difficult race so far? Or why not both? Most exciting and most difficult race?
I think they both go into one. I think it's the Macau GP. I mean, there's not really anything that can match it. I think that I've raced on in Europe with the Spanish F4 and Eurocup at the moment. I think the second event, if we had to choose one that would get close to it, would probably either be Monza, my home race, or Assen, just because of all the fan support that was out there during the weekend.
Let me just ask on this Macau thing, and sorry to people who want to hear more about the European racing, but I'm so fascinated by it. So talk about iRacing. As far as I'm aware, Macau's not on the service. Are you having to go to MP and then use their sim to learn the track? Because I imagine if I was to go to Silverstone or Monza or something, I've been racing that track or those tracks since I was a kid on the PlayStation 1 because I'm so old. But I know the track, I know where the corners are. I have an idea of how to handle it. I don't know how to do that with Macau because you don't have the same simulator setup at home.
So in general, even if the track is on iRacing or it's on Assetto Corsa or whatever on the sim at home, generally we do go to the MP sim. So in the Netherlands, we have with with Atse we work quite well, which is the guy that runs the sim. Just because they have all the materials, they have the laser scan track, and also for Macau, obviously they have the track. They know where all the bumps are. They know how to make it realistic compared to what I have at home. And also the sim, obviously, it's in an actual not an actual car, but it's an actual chassis of a car.
Moving cockpit, right?
Yeah, it's not moving, but it's still in a cockpit of a car with the big screens, which is something I don't have at home. So definitely prepares me better than the one I do have at home. I think the iRacing one I have at home is mainly for racing against other people and also other competitive sim racers.
Yeah, I actually wanted to correct you on your activities as well, because I know trolling the Discord server is also one of the things you like to do between race weekends as well.
I wouldn't say trolling. I would say interacting with the Discord server.
That's very good press. Yes, very good. Maybe Seb's one trolling you, but Seb, I know you've got...
No.
I'm not going to... I don't go on it. Maybe I just have to hear secondhand about it. But I know you have some questions yourself. Well, you got some questions from the audience, which are a bit more Spanish/Argentinian flavored.
Yes, because obviously you, Mattia, you have both Italian and Argentinian heritage. Mate Tatiana via Instagram, she asks, how Argentine are you?
So just to clear things up, because this seems to be quite a topic on Instagram and whatever. My mom is Argentinian and my dad is Italian, so I'm half and half. I do have an Italian license, which is why I technically race under the Italian flag. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
And the Singaporean that just so happened to live there, is that?
No, the Singaporean was, we went there obviously for the experience and also because my dad was working in Asia, so to be closer to him.
So you are truly a three-continent person.
Yeah. Indeed.
And then also from Instagram, we have Motorsport Fan with 2 R's in motor. They ask, have you ever been to Argentina? If so, what places do you know? And if not, where would you like to visit?
I have been. I do normally go to visit my family during the winter when possible. Obviously, I have cousins and aunts, uncles there, plus my grandparents from my mom's side. So I do go to visit my family quite often. Normally, I stay in Buenos Aires when I do go, because that's where most of my family is. Although I have been to Patagonia a couple of times, but when I was very little.
Jealous. Ever since watching the Top Gear special in Patagonia, I've always really wanted to go.
But yeah, definitely, I think Buenos Aires is the main location I do visit, and it's really great, really a great city.
And then from Discord, we have Trimmer Shave. You've kind of touched on it already, but do you like being Argentinian or Italian more?
I think definitely the support of both countries. Obviously, it's great to be from both countries, with my mom from Argentina and my dad from Italy. So it's good to have the support of both. And yeah, they're both quite passionate fans, with obviously now with also Franco in Formula One and other Argentinian drivers in the past that have quite excitement for the sport. So that's good to have.
Tifosi, they're not really known for being that passionate either. Those Italians are very, very quiet usually.
Very, very understated, they are.
They are not fans for a good reason.
Yeah, I can imagine, Mattia, wherever you go, if you've got Argentine and Italian supporters, like ear guards are absolutely necessary, because they are so passionate is the exact right word.
Yeah.
And this is another one from Discord from Co-Play McPan fan. As a driver of Argentine descent, have you ever considered racing under that flag in the future? I know you said earlier you race under an Italian license. Have you ever considered moving over to an Argentinian one?
Yeah, it's kind of something that's difficult to judge, being from both. Obviously, it's hard to decide, but yeah, it's something I will look into the future, to be honest.
Heard it here first.
Exclusive. Our next question is again from Instagram from Orkoyen. They ask, please ask him to send a message in Spanish to his Argentinian fans.
A message in Spanish to my Argentinian fans. Definitely.
Your army of Argentinian fans.
If there was one message I would send, is nada es imposible. So nothing is impossible.
Nice. And is this all Duolingo like me, learning a bit of Spanish in the background?
Yeah, talking with my mother, I do race in a team which is Dutch, but we do race in Spain mainly. Most of the mechanics are Spanish. My mechanic Albert is Spanish, so I am trying to work on that with him.
I tell you something, and Seb also just going to speak Spanish, which is why I let him have a bit of free reign with these Spanish questions. But The respect I have for people who can speak multiple languages is so good. So obviously you're handling that already, and then to go into like trilingual, oh yeah, very impressive. And Spanish, Italian, and English in motorsport, you'll be doing pretty well with those ones covered. So yeah, continue on that. Let's go into these ones. These are trying to get more questions answered by from the many people who are asking you questions. So I've got these ones as a quickfire load. So you can go one word, that's like you're out. But if you have more that you'd like to say, jump in. But you can answer them in one word. So this one's from Luca0115 via Instagram. What's your favorite track? And then separately, what's a track that you'd like to race on?
Favorite track? Macau.
Is this the go-to answer for anything?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good answer. It's Macau.
It really is. It's like, okay, it's not a track you often see because it is a very on the limit track and it is quite a, you could say, dangerous track. But the emotion of racing in these streets with all the fans and obviously in such tight corners, it's just incredible. So that's definitely my go-to.
And then on the other side of them, then what's a track that I guess the inferring here is that you haven't raced on, but that you'd like to race on?
So I will get the chance to race in it next year. It will be Albert Park in Australia. It looks like a really fun flowing track. So that's absolutely something I'm looking forward to.
Are you looking forward to
There's
the
some
rain,
better weather next year.
I was about to say the exact
weather.
same thing. Yeah, because and the first year as well, it seems to be like F3 just attracts the downpours.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope it doesn't rain so we can actually race and not get the race cancelled. But yeah, definitely I will enjoy that weekend just because the track looks so flowy. Looks very nice.
The way they've changed it as well is super interesting. I just find it so funny that the drivers like yourself who go into their first season in Formula 3 and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, here's rainy Albert Park, which is really going to test you to start with.
I'd say baptism by fire, but it's more of a baptism by water, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Baptism by deluge.
I've not had. I wanted to go to the race, but it was funny enough COVID year as well. Looks like a great place to go racing on. So very jealous. Got two from Klaja via Discord. You don't want to go down the Italy or Argentinian route to start with, but a big deal for both: Italian food or Argentinian food.
Oof, this is a very tough one.
And you have to answer this one. I mean, they're both passionate about that. Is it meat or is it pasta? I guess.
So I do love a great Argentinian asado, empanadas. Really love those. Alfajor, I do. When I go to Argentina, bring back a spare set of alfajores to eat when I come back to Italy. But at the same time, I do love a good pasta al pesto here in Italy. I do go and eat a lot of pasta in my daily lives.
I know from every Italian I've met that food is just the most important thing in the entire culture.
Yeah.
So we're going to say Italian food is the winner here, or is it an Italian dish in particular?
If I had to choose, I would probably go Argentinian, to be honest. I really love empanadas.
Nice. Okay, well, maybe you can claw it back.
So my favorite food is sushi, so we're going to Japan. But if I had to choose between Italian and Argentine, I think I would go Argentinian.
Well, maybe you can claw it back for the angry Italians now, because the next question is Kimi Antonelli or Franco Colapinto again. Klaja via Discord.
This is a very tough one, huh?
If you've just insulted the Italians, now's your chance to redeem yourself.
Yeah. I don't know. It's quite a difficult one to choose. I do look up to Franco a lot, seeing as he has had a past with MP Motorsport. He has come up the ranks with MP both in Spanish F4, but then F3 and F2 in his second year of F3 and his F2 campaign last year. So that is someone I look up to, although I do know Kimi and he is really super talent, incredible driver. And also incredible person. So I don't know. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say a name. I'm not going to choose.
I'll tell you something. I've spoken to Franco several times and I hadn't even considered the parallels of the MP and going down that route. So yeah, that's great with the Argentinian side of things. This one you have to have an opinion on. Tia via Discord wants to know, dogs or cats?
Absolutely dogs. I mean,
no hesitation this time.
There's no argument to it. I mean, I no disrespect to the cat people, but dogs are like an affectionate animal, and although cats can be affectionate, I do think dogs are the more affectionate ones, you could say. Yeah.
You're not going to have an argument here. Seb, bit of background for people who aren't in the feeder series editorial side of things, but Seb has a very cute dog who gets dropped into the group chat on a very, very regular basis.
He also appears on the Pet Pics channel on the Discord. So if you want to see pictures of Charlie, join the Discord.
Great, absolutely, we'll do.
Shout out to Charlie. And they also, as you know, Tia, do you prefer cold weather? I mean, I'm guessing if people can't see, there's a blue sky behind Mattia. The white balance on the camera's ruining it, but it's gorgeous behind him. But cold weather or hot weather? I think I've got an idea what your answer will be when you say that you lived in Singapore.
Does it have to be for racing or just in general?
You can decide. It just says cold weather or hot weather.
For racing, hot weather, because I do think hot weather adds an extra element to it, of especially tire degradation, tire management. On the cold, you can kind of abuse the tires a bit more, and that sometimes does not play into the favor of some drivers rather than others. But I do think the hot weather adds an extra element to it, which is nice for racing. For the other side, so personal life, I think I would go cold, to be honest, just because of mountain sports.
Skiing and snowboarding, that's so easy to do in the heat, is it? This one, as a Italian, there might be an answer to this. Checo Palva Discord, favorite cheese?
I'm not a big cheese fan, but I would go with casera. I think a good Italian casera is all right.
Okay, well, as long as you had an answer to it. We've had, I can't remember which driver it was now. I had a French driver joining on say they didn't like cheese, and I was like, you can't say that. It's offensive to the entire nation. But okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big cheese guy, to be honest. I don't put cheese on my pasta.
I mean, I'm vegan and I still miss good cheese, you know. So, like, it's crazy to me that you wouldn't put cheese on a palette of Parmesan. Oh, wow, that is... Well, you've lost Italian support over and over during this entire podcast. Get the Argentinian license as soon as possible. Snitchel George via Discord, favorite vegetable?
Favorite vegetable? That's a very bizarre question. That's
Welcome to Discord, mate.
Daunting question. I don't know. This is a tough one. Avocado, I guess.
I mean, speechless was going to be the answer then for 1 second.
Nah, I'm going to go avocado just because of sushi.
Nice. Very well connected there. Seb, this is exactly what I keep saying about the Discord. You guys have got some stuff going on there that I'm never going to understand. Yeah. But I love asking the questions on their behalf. Alfonsov, I think it's pronounced. PS5, Xbox, PC, or Switch, which do you prefer?
PC. There's no doubt in my mind. PC, just iRacing.
Do you do anything else on the PC but iRacing, or is it just an iRacing machine?
Assetto Corsa? No. I don't know. On my PC, the point is I have it on the sim. So whenever I'm home, I do hop on the sim and just drive. I mean, I have tried Fortnite. I'm really, really terrible at it, like insanely bad. So yeah, that's not for me.
It's difficult to play with a wheel and pedals, of course. So I could see what you're
I've seen videos of setups of like they use I think I saw one video. They use the gear lever as how to shoot.
Crazy. Niam via Discord, Niamos. What came first? The chicken or the egg?
Okay, another daunting question. Absolutely magnificent. I don't know. This is a tough one. Judging by, well, if you think about it, the chicken has to hatch from the egg.
But who laid the egg?
Well, it depends which way you believe the world was created, I guess. This is a very exciting topic.
This is why people tune in.
I'm going to go with the egg just based on, I do think for the chicken to then grow, the egg has to like exist. And I do think if there is a life form that did put the egg on the ground, like if it wouldn't have been a chicken, just already a chicken, just, okay, you get it.
I get it. It's a hard-hitting journalism that people expect from
this is why people tune in, indeed.
This one actually would be important to the Argentinians, I imagine. Racer D via Discord. What kind of meat do you put on the barbecue? Important question.
Okay, so I know Mr. Racer D very well. Is someone I know quite well. So yeah, all the meat possible on the barbecue, especially for Barcelona. So be ready for that. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it.
Bunt via Discord, and this is somebody from the Feeder Series team as well, who said, when you wrote All Right Bet in this server last year, this server being Discord, did you actually think you were going to win the title? And the referencing sent me a screenshot of it. Al Azari, no imminent threat to Spanish F4 title charge, and then you replied, All Right Bet. How confident were you at the time, or was it a little bit tongue-in-cheek?
I don't remember when this was. I do think it was before Aragon, and I proceeded to have probably the worst quality of the year. So yeah, that was suboptimal. But I don't know. I kind of knew the speed was there, that I could go for it, especially if I performed like I did then in the last 2 rounds, which were then where he was kind of struggling a bit more. So yeah, definitely I knew I had the chance, the possibility, and the potential to catch back up. But I wasn't sure if it was going to happen, of course, because he was at the moment so far away in terms of points. He could have, I think, kept on to it.
So you were unconfident, and then all of a sudden now, Red Bull driver, last laugh on your side of things. Tia, Vine, final question. He's had a lot of them, but this one is the all-important one. In fact, Seb, why didn't you ask this final question? Because it's the one that everybody has tuned in for.
Yes.
No.
What color is your toothbrush?
But this is the best one. This is the one that actually got me laughing when I read it. So hats off to whoever asked that. Blue? Yeah, I don't know what else to say. My toothbrush is indeed blue.
Is it Red Bull blue?
No, it's a lighter blue, unfortunately.
You should have joined Williams. I mean, this is clear now that your affiliations are
or Alpine, you know.
No, it's a light blue. It's light blue.
Okay, well, you go off to the shops and you go and get one with a little yellow bit at the front, and then some different coloured blue and red.
Put a Red Bull sticker on it, or I don't know.
I'll tell you something. If anything, the Feeder Series podcast has helped us identify the colours of toothbrushes of drivers up and down the Feeder Series ladder.
I'm actually really curious to know what other colours the other drivers choose, so I'll go take a look.
Dorian Pan has got green and black, I believe. Okay. I was going to say Dino Began.
Like a car?
It's very interesting. Joshua Dirksen has got...
That's great.
Yeah, Joshua Dirksen's got the Paraguayan colours. Coincidentally or not, who knows? Dino Bogdanovic, something similar. That episode coming out soon. So it's really interesting how it works. But yeah, maybe is it the light blue like Argentinian blue?
Yeah, you could connect that, yes.
It's fascinating.
Actual reason why people tune in, not really anything else, just to know what the toothbrush.
This is why we ask a question at the end, because otherwise people would tune out. If it's the first question, you'd stop listening once you have this piece of crucial information from your favorite driver. Mattia, you've been such a good sport. Thank you so much for answering all these very, very in-depth questions. That's all the time we have for this episode. And Mattia as well, you can go back to your holiday as well. That sunshine looks very appealing. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please drop a like on the video, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It all really helps us out. Maybe just let us know what color your toothbrush is. Everyone wants to know. And if you're listening, leave a review on the podcast platform you're listening on. That is also greatly appreciated. Finally, check out feederseries.net for more Feeder Series insight, and follow Feeder_Series and FS Americas on X, Feeder Series Net on Instagram, and Feeder Series on TikTok. You can find the links to all of those, plus the accounts for myself and Seb and Mattia, on the YouTube description or the podcast show notes. Until next time, we have been the Feeder Series podcast. Goodbye.